Welcome to another day of Bhagavad Gita Sadhana. It's wonderful to have you as part of our ongoing study of Samatvam, which can be translated literally as being essentially the same. Sama, same, and Tvam can mean truth or essence or element, any of those. So being essentially true to yourself could be a good way to phrase it. But who is yourself? We've been talking about the topic of memory, and a lot of us build our idea of self not on what's happening in the present moment, but based on memory. Like I might think to myself, am I a good person or a bad person? And I'm going to refer to my memory. Have I done good things or bad things? Am I an on-time person or a late person? Let's refer to my memory. We do that with other people too. Are they a this person or that person? What do I remember about them? So memory, in a way, helps play a huge part in forming our little limited selves, or our ideas of them, and our ideas of other people's limited selves. When we talk about the true essential nature, that's deep within. It doesn't change even as the years go by. And boy, do they go by. Um, so why would we need to forget? One of the things we've talked about these past couple days is that Krishna, in the Bhagavad Gita, says that he is the source of both memory and loss of memory. And we're kind of in any of your Bhagavad Gita translations, the realm of chapter 8, which has to do with death. Many cultures talk about death and rebirth, and often what happens with that is there's a loss of memory. It's said that, sometimes there's children who remember what seems to have gone on in a past life, but they forget, or not everybody says it, so it's not considered a universal thing. And I believe I've referred to this before, but in many traditions around the world, there's this idea that we do come back. Even the Greeks had this idea that you can come back. But for the Greeks, you had to drink from a special river of forgetfulness. You went over the river Styx to get to death, and then to come out, you had to go over another river and drink from it and forget everything that's happened before. But why? Why do we need to forget? Why not? Like Krishna says, I remember everything, so he's a special dude. Why do we forget? There's supposed to be several reasons, and one of the key ones is so that we can start afresh. Like I said, my idea of who I am now has to do with my memory. I do this, I do that, or other people. One of the ways we can really start being in touch with our true self is to forget all the things that have happened before. And when we're with somebody, to be with them in the present, to be with ourselves in the present, and stop trying to process the past. Now, I'm not saying like if someone's done you harm to become completely vulnerable with them. That's not the case. You can use memory for that. That's what the memory of the physical body is for self-protection. But I'm saying, for example, if you ever try to start something new, other people will often still relate to you as if you were doing your old stuff, or you will relate to yourself as doing your old stuff. I could go away and not see my family for months, and I get back together with them. Maybe I've had an intense spiritual experience, or I feel I've developed, and they're going to just treat me as they did before and not even look to see the difference. I have friends I see often, and it's kind of fun when I see them often, but then I'm with somebody who hasn't seen them for a while, and they can point out, oh my gosh, this is different, that is different. I go, oh yeah, you're right, it is different. And I just, I'm defaulting back. And in this life, it is said that we have a unique role to play. Again, many spiritual traditions say this. We have a special role to play. Sometimes, in order to play our role, we have to be willing to forget. So, for example, I mentioned that Arjun, the embodiment of Arjun, purposely forgets so that Krishna can narrate the Gita to him again, and then we all get the benefit. But if we look at, the realm of acting, so if a great actor is playing a role, I don't know if you've ever been on any kind of movie set or been around one, but you don't shoot sequentially, and there's often long interruptions and breaks for, checking the lighting or the sound or this or that or adjusting the continuity. And in all that time, you might be like, the actor or might be like, I'm bored, or they could have fights with the other actors or disagreements with the director, or anything could come up. Phone call from a loved one, a stress. But when they get on camera to play their roles, they have to be able to forget that to fully immerse themselves in the character. And it said that, we come to earth when we put on these characters. And in order to do our character role fully, we have to be able to forget the essence sometimes of who we are. So it can serve a purpose, but often we'll have this feeling of disconnection, like I'm not quite myself. So it's awesome to look at memory in this way of memory is good, and sometimes forgetting. One other aspect of it said, if you subscribe to the belief of rebirth, is that we come back with the same people, just in different bodies. And the only way we learn or get over our previous hurts is to forget who they are too. Forget who we are, to forget who they are, so that we can resolve conflicts. We can see them in a different way and evolve. So here's some different ideas of why we might want to lose memory, especially on the spiritual path. If we want to see ourselves as good people, we have to be willing to acknowledge, not brush over, but forget the negative habits that keep binding us so that we can transcend them. Wow. Today's practice is dedicated to all those great actors out there. I was thinking of some this way, too many to write down, like Dame Helen Mirren, Meryl Streep, Octavia Spencer, Sidney Poitier, Lou Diamond Phillips, America Ferrera. I mean, I could just go on, and I'm sure you have your favorites too. You have a role to play. You do. Whether it's a lead or supporting, it's important. So maybe if we can forget our self-doubt for a minute, we can recognize that. Balance poses are great for helping us stop our minds, so let's give our usual one a try. Remember to modify as needed. Switch. So for our contemplation today, I invite you to reflect on what you need to forget so that you feel you can move forward with who you really are and the role you are meant to play in this world. See you in 5. Whoa. 5 minutes already. Holy cow. Welcome back. Hope this was useful for you. We'll revisit, I think, the topic of memory again tomorrow if I remember to do so. And as I was sitting in my contemplation, I kept remembering other actors, and I'm sure you have too, but ones that really stood out were Jodie Foster, Kaylee Reese, all the indigenous people who were part of True Detective Night Countries last season, and Michelle Yeoh. I remember Michelle Yeoh from real early kung fu movie work, like what was one? Bean Curd Queen or Bean Curd Princess or something like that. It's just amazing. If only I could play my role in life half as well as those people play theirs. I'm going to go give it a shot today. I'll check in with you next time. Until then.